Hey everyone, today we're going to go over another Automa. This time it's Splendor. We're going to go over rules, components, and how to play. In addition to this video, I'm going to make another one with a full gameplay run-through of a game so you can see it all in action. So if you go to the BGG files section under Splendor, you're going to see the solo Automa, and you're going to have 4 pages. It's going to come with 12 cards, and this sheet that's going to hold the chips, and the numbers on the here matter because it's going to play off of the Automa deck. So to set up a game of Splendor for the solo Automa, you're going to set up like you normally would for a 2-player game with 3 nobles. Additionally, you're going to place this to the side, and you're going to put 4 tokens of each on their respective colors. You can have 3 gold. The Automa deck won't interact. They will not reserve cards. So at most you have 3 gold that you can have at one time. So that's all you're going to need is 3. Additionally, you're going to have the Automa deck. This is a deck of 12 cards. To set up, you need to find the 4 cards with the little star in the bottom right hand side of the card. You're going to take those 4 cards, you're going to shuffle them, you're going to pick 2, you're going to return the other 2 to the box, you don't need them, and you're going to add this these groupings of 2 to your other cards to make a deck of 10. You're going to shuffle this, and you're going to place it near the board. Okay. And solo Automa game of Splendor is going to take place over a maximum of 30 turns. The Automa will go first, and then you will go first, and that's 1 turn. So to simply go, you would flip over to start the game, and for the first 10 turns, so the first time you go through this deck, you're going to look at this top section of the card. And it's going to have 3 possible things for it to do. It's either going to take chips from the supply, and to simply do that, you would look at what's 1, 3, and 4. That's what it would take. So it would take 1, 3, and 4, and it would stack them in its player area. Okay. Or possibly, it might buy a card. So whenever you see this card silhouette and this check mark, and this means it's going to discard tokens from its supply. So the board is set up where this row is A, this row is B, and this row is C. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is A1, A2, A3, A4, B1, B2, B3, B4, C1, C2, C3, and C4. And so this card is going to reference that if it's going to take a card. But for the first time through the deck, you flip over a card, and you're only going to pay attention to this number 1. You're only going to do what's on that top section. So if this was the turn, it would have taken chips in slots 1, 3, and 4 and added it to its supply. Then it would be my turn. Let's say I took 2 white because there's 4 left in that stack. And then it goes back to the Automa. It flips over another card. And so now it says, the Automa takes C1 and discards 3 tokens. So A, B, C, 1. So it takes this card. If a card does not have any victory points on it, you don't have to keep track of it. You just discard it away. Then it would take its tokens and return them to the supply. You flip over a card. Now it's back to my turn. Let's say I took 2 blue because there's 4 left in there. And then it goes back to its turn. And it wants B2. And if it has any tokens, discard 4 of them. So B2. So once again, A, B, 1, 2. It would take this card. And since it does have victory points in there, it would put it in its play area. Now, it does not have any tokens. So this card says discard up to 4. If it doesn't have any, then it can't discard any, but it's still going to take the card. So then if I go back to my turn, let's say I took 2 green, and I go back to its turn. Once again, it wants C1. So C1, discard it because there's no victory points on it, and then discard 3 tokens if it hasn't. So as it gets tokens, if there's going to be cards on here that, so like this one says 2, 5, and 1. So 2, 5, 1. Let's say another turn, that says 5 and 4, 5 and 4. Let's say now this card comes out and it says 5 and 4. There's none left in slot 5. So just ignore that and just take what you can. So 4, like that. If another card comes up, that says, hey, take C2 and discard 3 tokens. And this is supposed to be filled. C2 is 1, 2, so it takes this card. There's no victory points on it, so discard it and discard 3 tokens. It always discards from the bottom of the stack. So 1, 2, 3, put them back. Keep those in its pile. And you're going to keep doing this. At the end of the 10th turn, it's going to have all of its cards in the discard pile. You're going to go, because you always finish the turn, and then you're going to shuffle this deck, and you're going to create a new deck with it. And then when it's the AI's turn, you're simply going to flip it over. And now you're only going to pay attention to the middle section. You're going to do that 10 times, and then once all 10 have been discarded, you're going to shuffle it one more time, and it's now the last 10 turns of the game. Now, the game might not take the full 10 turns. At the end of each turn, you need to be checking to see if either you or the AI have gotten to 15 or more victory points. Maybe the AI gets to that in turn 21 or 22. So you might not have the full 30 turns to get the 15. So at the end of the turn, you need to check to see if one of y'all has 15, and whoever has the most points at that point wins. If it gets to the start of the 31st turn, you lose. So you have a maximum of 30 turns to beat the AI. The AI does not interact with nobles, so as the game progresses, it's going to be getting victory points in its pile. None of these interact with the nobles. The AI does not interact with the nobles. You still do, and you can go after them, but the AI won't. Is there anything else that I am missing? Once again, the AI will never reserve. It's only going to do 3 actions on the cards. It's either going to take tokens in slots on here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's going to buy cards, and actually I think that's only 2 actions. Yep, it's only going to take 2 actions. So, and then once it buys cards, if it doesn't have any victory points, just throw them to the side. You don't need to keep track of them. Whenever it buys cards, always take tokens from the bottom of the deck. If a card tells you to take tokens from a particular slot and there are none there, just skip that number. If it only takes 2 on that turn, it only takes 2. Additionally, it's very rare, but the AI, there is a chance it could get more than 10 chips. If it does, just make it so that it takes more than the 10. By the next turn or 2 turns, that will correct itself. I haven't really seen that in the last 5 games. It did happen once, but it only happened for like a turn. So that's the game. This pretty much plays exactly like a normal 2-player game would, and it should give you some pretty competitive scores. I'm about 50-50 win-loss, and I will be uploading a playthrough soon. If you have any questions, comment on the thread or the YouTube video, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks, guys.